The paid propagandist punks over at the Counterfeit Clown News Network are a little upset and are crying about the fact that they're getting censored off of World Economic Forum young global leader Elon Musk's Twitter platform. But wait, there's more. People ask me all the time, "Hey Brian, do you really use that keto elevate stuff, and does it really work?" The answer is yes and yes. Never in my entire life have I lost body fat so quickly. Not even in my prime at 25, which is over 25 years ago. I'm approaching 54 this year. If you want to support the channel and do your health a favor, grab some with my link in the description. Apparently, Donny O'Sullivan, who is, you know what's so funny? You know how I should introduce this? I should say, pudgy propagandist Donny O'Sullivan. Because anytime they introduce Alex Jones or mention his name, they always say, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Well, what if we said, corporate media propagandist Jakey the Snake Tapper? I mean, what's the difference? You're going to see a mountain of hypocrisy coming out of the counterfeit communist Clinton News Network right here as they whine about censorship being enacted against their reporters / propagandists. Listen to this. It's funny on the one hand, but on the other hand, I despise censorship so much. I don't want it to happen to them because I know if I want it to happen to them, just like they want it to happen to me, then I reduce myself to their level.
This just in, Elon Musk is suspending the Twitter accounts of some of the journalists who cover Twitter, among them members of the New York Times, the Washington Post.
Journalists. A true journalist speaks truth to power and is interested in laying all the truth on the table and letting the chips fall where they may and let the audience decide. These guys are propagandists. They're peddling their propaganda 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as they lay cover for the military-industrial complex. That's why I call them the extension and arm of the military-industrial complex, the propaganda arm. So so I understand the humor is not lost on me that they're starting to feel the sting of their own desired policies.
CNN, our Donny O'Sullivan, who reported here last night on the controversial suspension of
and that's also funny too. You got Anderson, you got a little Anderson Pooper over here. Former CIA? I don't think so. When you're a CIA, you're always CIA. He worked for the CIA, so this is why I say CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media, because he's an example of a CIA agent who sits behind a news desk for a corporate network. And he's going to whine about the propaganda. I mean, he's going to whine about the censorship that is being enacted against them now at the hand of Elon Musk, when they're the ones that call for Nicholas Sandmann to be, they slandered Nicholas Sandmann. Nicholas Sandmann had to sue the Washington Post, Compost Pile, the New York Slimes, and CNN, and won a big fat settlement because they know they were wrong when they slandered that 16-year-old kid, then 16-year-old kid. They lied about weapons of mass destruction to get us into a decades and decades long, trillions of dollars war. They sought to deplatform Alex Jones for just speaking his mind. They go after independent journalists all the time, and they applauded the censorship of Donald Trump. And now they're crying because one of their reporters, little pudgy propagandist, Donny O'Sullivan over there, got terminated from the Twitter platform. So let's go on.
And our Donny O'Sullivan, who reported here last night on the controversial suspension of a different account, just had his account suspended this evening. So Donny, last night you were sitting here, you were reporting on the young guy who is has been tracking the private jet of Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. That's him. You did an interview with him and his grandmother.
Correct.
And apparently Elon Musk did not like that.
Yeah, so what's basically happened just really over the past hour or so, a number of journalists at national news outlets, including the New York Times, the Washington Post, and here at CNN, have been permanently, it seems, suspended from Twitter. Now, all those...
And everybody on the right's like, Serves you right, CNN. You've been pushing for us to be censored for years, and now you're getting a taste of your own medicine, and I get that. On the other side of it, where is the principled stop? Where's the backstop where you go, hold on a second. Yeah, this is funny because it's so freaking hilarious and ironic that hypocritical CIA infiltrated CNN is getting a taste of their own medicine. Yeah, I get it. But do you really want to start applauding censorship? Because that blade swings both ways, and it's just a matter of time before that sharp pendulum swings at you and starts cutting your tongue off.
Those journalists, including myself, happen to be people who cover Elon Musk. This is Elon Musk, of course, who the free speech absolutist, who likes the First Amendment. Drew,
it is truly mockable on Elon Musk's part too. I'm a free speech absolutist. I'm not going to knock anybody off the platform. I'm so for free speech. I'm not even going to take the guy down who tracks my private jet. And then a month later, he takes down the guy who tracks his private jet, which shows that Elon Musk is not interested in even keeping his own word. And guys, I'm telling you, if you have a guy who lacks integrity to such an extent that he will violate his own word when he has the power to not violate it, I mean, he's the top of the chain at Twitter right now. He didn't have to do that, but he did it. He violated his own word. And if he doesn't think that highly of himself to actually carry through with what he said, then what do you think he thinks about you and your speech? Think about that. Think how deep this runs. I don't have enough integrity to protect my own word and to secure and safeguard and carry out my own word. He's not going to have the integrity to safeguard your words.
Drew Harwell, who's one of the reporters at the...
Why the heck does he have DEF CON on the outside of his laptop right here?
The Washington Post, who was suspended, he put out a statement saying, Elon says he is a free speech champion and he is banning journalists for exercising free speech. I think that calls into question his commitment. Look,
I agree. I agree with that. But because I agree with that statement doesn't mean I agree with the person who said it. Doesn't mean I agree with the network he represents. Doesn't mean I agree with Donny O'Sullivan. But I do believe if it's true that Donny O'Sullivan was kicked off of the platform for reporting on the guy who made the bot on Twitter called Elon Jet, I am against that because I'm against censorship. I don't even want to censorship my enemies over at CNN.
I mean, this is, as we saw with the jet tracker last night, Musk seems to be just stamping out accounts that he doesn't like. Look,
which is, I mean, kind of crazy given his
stance
the line
on
he's
speech.
been.
Have you guys noticed that Elon Anderson Cooper has trouble forming words? He has trouble reading his teleprompter. In a second here, we're going to go over this CNN little thing where Oliver Darcy's tripping over his own words trying to read one of these statements by CNN. But this guy gets paid mucho buckos to do the right thing, to be articulate, to read a teleprompter, to ask intelligible questions, and he constantly is stumbling over his words.
Now,
let me just take a look at your account. I think we have an image of your account.
Yeah, so that's what I see when I try log in right now. It says your account is permanently suspended, and it says after careful review that they decided to kick me off the platform. In the minutes leading up to the suspension, and we were reporting, we were doing our job. We were reporting on what was happening with the Musk jet situation. Musk had claimed as kind of a justification for taking down the jet account that there was an incident this week involving his child in Los Angeles. He claimed that a stalker, he described it, followed the car that his child was in, and he tried to link this to the jet tracking app. It's not entirely clear that there is a linkage there, but nevertheless, just a few minutes.
It's not clear. I don't see a link, and this is the thing that he's talking about right here. And we went over this. This is supposedly, I'm assuming, this is a video of the guy who blocked the car that Elon owns that contained his son and jumped on the hood. So here's the 11-second clip from Elon.
No.
Yeah,
What's
pretty
your
sure.
name?
Got you.
What's your name?
And so I ask all these questions, 11 seconds. Why an 11-second clip? Why not an extended clip that actually gives context to the content? Anyone recognize this person's car? Elon Musk says last night, car carrying little X in LA was followed by crazy stalker thinking it was me, who later blocked car from moving and climbed onto the hood. Legal action is being taken against Sweeney and organizations who supported harm to my family. So he's conflating what Sweeney did with what this guy supposedly did, blocking the car in and possibly making a move to jeopardize the safety of his kids. So that's what Donny O'Sullivan is talking about here.
That's before we got kicked off Twitter. I had reported that the Los Angeles Police Department said they were aware of the situation and the tweet by Elon Musk and was in contact with his representatives and his security team. They did point out that no crime reports have been filed yet. But look, I mean, I think in terms of me personally, many of the national reporters at the Times and the Post, we're okay. I'm on the Anderson Cooper show. We have a platform, and just like when Trump got kicked off, we can...
See, that's not the point. That's not even the angle that a journalist, in my opinion, should take. The angle that they should take is, hey, if I got deplatformed for no freaking reason for just reporting on this Elon jet thing, if that's really what happened, guys, I don't trust these guys. I think, you know, they're for the most part, they're just liars and all they do is lie and they get a paycheck from lying and they spread their propaganda and make the world a worse place. But I'm still not for censorship. But if it's true that Elon Musk knocked Donny O'Sullivan and the other people from the New York Slimes and the Washington Compost Pile off of the Twitter platform because they interviewed the Elon jet guy who was tracking Elon's private jet, that is censorship, guys. Just for reporting on it. If that's true, that's horrible. And what Donny O'Sullivan should be saying, well, I have other platforms. I'm on the Anderson Cooper show. No, that's irrelevant. I did what a journalist, he should be saying, I did what a journalist should be doing, reporting on a current event that should be of interest to everybody because censorship is a huge, huge deal. And if it happens to me over at the Communist News Network, it's going to happen to you. And that's why I got a big problem with censoring anybody, because if you're calling for the censorship of others, don't whine and don't complain and don't be hypocritical when that same action befalls you when they obtain positions of power. If you're powerful enough to censor somebody, then just wait till somebody becomes more powerful than you because you will be censored.
Posts elsewhere. I do think this is very important about the potential chilling impact this might have for freelance journalists, independent journalists around the world, particularly those who cover Elon Musk's other companies like Tesla and SpaceX. I think this could have a real chilly factor.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Donny. He ended up saying it. I didn't see this far into this video, so good for him. He's basically saying, hey, I was fortunate enough to have a platform. I can be on Anderson Cooper, but the independent journalists won't have this. So, you know, hats off to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Donny. I'm sorry. But here's some more hypocrisy. If you'll remember who Oliver Darcy is right here, Oliver Darcy is the guy who couldn't sleep until he got Alex Jones deplatformed from YouTube, from Facebook, from all social media sites. Wanted to just wreck the guy's life. And again, this is another example of projection, guys. What they wanted to do and did do to Alex Jones, they want to do to you as well. Do not applaud the demise of Alex Jones, because if you do, you might as well applaud your own demise. Take it away, you freaking hypocrites.
Elon Musk banning multiple tech journalists from Twitter with no explanation. The suspensions come just hours after Twitter shut down an account belonging to an emerging competitor, Mastodon. The ban includes the New York Times' Ryan Mack, the Washington Post's Drew Harwell, and our own CNN's Donny O'Sullivan. Here with me to talk about all this, we have John Berman, also Donny O'Sullivan, and CNN's Oliver Darcy. What did you do that was so bad, Donny?
We reported on Elon Musk. We were talking about the world's, formerly the world's richest man, world's second richest man, who runs Twitter. I
don't even believe that. That's a lie, guys. Elon Musk is not the richest or the second richest man. Jeff Bezos, they're not the richest man. The people that you don't know their names, those are the guys. The guys who pulled the strings of the international banking cartel, they got trillions, guys. These people we don't know, who are the masterminds, who send out their social engineers and their psychological operators, who are the kingpins behind the veil. Those are the richest guys in the world. They set these little puppet marionettes up so that they can do the bidding of the World Economic Forum. By the way, and I've said this before, when CNN talks about Alex Jones, it's always prefaced with conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. We should say propaganda, pugly propagandist Donny O'Sullivan. Or how about this? World Economic Forum young global leader, Elon Musk. Just so you're always reminding your audience who they're loyal to. Who are you loyal to, Donny? Oh, that's right. The corporate oligarchy. The people who want to inject brainwashing into the masses so that they can get them to buy onto, oh, I think we need gun control, which isn't really gun control, it's people control. I think we need to beg our political overlords for carbon tax credits. I think climate change is something that we really need to combat, so I'll reach deeper into my pocket, even though I can't afford it, so that we can save the planet. And who better to save our planet than the saviors of the planet, the politicians? That's what propaganda does. It just pickles the brains. That's why in the last 2.5 years, when you went out to the grocery store, you didn't ever think it was going to happen in your small town. But for some reason, 98%, 99% of the people were wearing ritualistic shame muzzles for some. Where did they get that idea? Oh, that's right. It was the propaganda networks. And then they feed on your fear. They inject fear. They feed on your fear. Fear, releases bad stuff into your system and makes you sick, and then the whole cycle just perpetuates itself. It's just a hodgepodge. It's a mess. It's a convoluted, hypocritical garbage heap.
Has taken particular he's been annoyed that there's been this account, which has been active for years now, which tracks the movements of his private jet.
Right, but you're not doing that. Why did you get banned?
So we reported how yesterday he shut that account down, and tonight we continue to report on it. He is claiming on social media that I and other journalists shared the precise live location of his jet, and therefore that's why he kicked us off, because we caused danger to him. Certainly, in my case, I didn't. We just posted stories about what was happening. Him shutting.
So again, if that's true that Donny O'Sullivan didn't even violate a Twitter policy, not even the new doxing policy, and he got kicked off, that's an example, a clear-cut example, in my opinion, of censorship.
Down those accounts. But look, I think the bigger issue here is, of course, this is supposed to be the guy who's the free speech absolutist, right?
Wait, are you saying that Elon Musk is saying something that isn't true?
I think that seems to be the case.
Look at this guy's face. Are you saying that Elon Musk is saying something that isn't true? Coming from the lying network. You talk about a hodgepodge of continual 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, network broadcasting idiocy and lies. And they're just sitting here all smug, all hypocritical, sitting behind that desk making fun of. Now, they're making good points, but we can parse out the good points that they're making. It's like a broken clock. It's right twice a day, right? But it's still a broken clock, and you don't want to rely on it. They're right in some of the things that they're saying in their criticism of Elon Musk. That doesn't mean I'm for, Brian's for CNN. It's like, no, truth fears no scrutiny. I don't care where truth comes from. Truth is truth. Truth is truth, even if no one believes it. But lies, they're still lies, even if everyone believes it. So let's get our heads out of our arses, try to parse what truth is, and try to look at this thing objectively and logically and reasonably. But these guys are absolute hypocrites. And wait till you hear Oliver Darcy start flapping his gums.
Well, I mean, it actually goes further than that, John. He was touting, freedom of speech as this beacon, that Twitter would be a beacon of that, until it comes to anybody saying something about something he doesn't like.
There's a word for that.
Is it called hypocrisy?
It might be called hypocrisy. Yeah. Look, first of all, Elon Musk's understanding of freedom of speech has always been somewhat limited. There's no constitutional freedom of speech for a private company. Never has been, and as far as I know, there never will be.
I agree, but to what extent is Twitter and Facebook and Google, to what extent is Walmart a private company? If you're subsidized in any way by the government, you start blurring the lines between public and private. How much money, how much government grant money behind the scenes did Google get? Did YouTube get? Did Facebook get? Did Twitter get? I don't know. But can we really count Twitter and, all these guys in Silicon Valley who've come out to create this literally life-changing technology? I mean, back in the 1970s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, nobody was going like this. I mean, they've captured our minds. And all you see people get on, they'll walk down the road like this. They'll be driving, they'll be texting. They're just driving and texting. These Silicon Valley, brainiacs have literally transformed how people live, how people think. And when you transform how somebody thinks, you're going to transform how society as a whole acts, because each individual in that society has been impacted by this technology. And I'm not saying the technology is all bad, because this technology can be used for good stuff, but there's some really nefarious people out there who will hijack this technology, leverage it, and use it for their own evil ends. And that's when we get caught up in the updraft. But these hypocrites sitting here, there's some right criticisms coming out against Elon Musk, but the finger points back at them too, because they are absolutely hypocritical. They are not free speech absolutists. They want censorship to come against us.
So his criticisms of Twitter from before were off base. It's his company. I mean, he can ban Donny if he wants to. It's just wildly hypocritical.
Oliver, what is CNN going to do about this?
Well, I think this raises a big question about
Oliver, ban Alex Jones from every single platform known to man Darcy. That's who we're talking about. So how, if we're going to introduce Alex Jones as conspiracy theorist Alex Jones or pudgy propagandist Donny O'Sullivan, how can we introduce Oliver Darcy? Censorship loving Oliver Darcy.
what the free press, what the future of the free press on Twitter looks like. Are news organizations going to stand by as the reporters are just, hastily banned without explanation? CNN is saying it's going to reevaluate its relationship with Twitter based on the response it gets. I want to read you the full statement, Allison.
Please.
It says, the impulsive and unjustified suspension of a number of reporters, including CNN's Donny O'Sullivan, is concerning but not surprising. And it goes on to say Twitter's increasing instability and volatility should be of incredible concern for everyone who uses Twitter. And then it goes on to say, we have asked Twitter for an explanation and we will reevaluate our relationship based on that response.
Kind of like CBS, remember that? They're like, well, we're going to stop tweeting here for a moment, and we don't know how long it's going to take, but we're going to assess the situation, and we'll determine whether we come back on Twitter. Less than 20 hours later, they're back on Twitter because everybody called their bluff and said, you're just trying to virtue signal. That's all you're doing. You're going to be back on here in no time. And of course they were.
And I think it's so important to point out that Twitter really needs, or really relies on, news. I mean, that's what's the kind of the lifeblood of
and
Twitter.
Journalists.
Current events.
I mean, they're all on Twitter.
And so if you see news organizations start to pull
They're conflating news and journalists with networks and propaganda and corporate entities who are pushing agenda. You're not a news organization and you're not journalists, true journalists seeking out, ferreting out the truth if you're too busy pushing a propaganda and trying to shove your anti-gun policy, pro-libtard agenda down people's throats. You frickin' Communist News Network hypocrites.
reporters pull their brand accounts, pull their content off of Twitter, that's going to be a real blow to the platform and make it less usable, I think, for the average person.
Doing my job here and to play devil's advocate against myself, I guess. Look, when Trump got suspended, everybody pointed out that was also, a concerning thing for many people, kicking off the then president of the United States, regardless of the circumstances. But, I have a platform. I'm here talking to you on CNN. There are other social media platforms. The First Amendment, despite what Musk and a lot of his supporters say, does not actually apply to Twitter. I think what is more concerning here, though, is independent journalists, freelance journalists all around the world, many of whom...
But the idea of free speech does apply even to private corporations. Sure, they can do whatever they want to within their own company. And the First Amendment was written to limit the encroachment of the federal government on individuals' freedom of speech, but the concept is still there. If you own a company that's a public platform, that is a social media platform that operates as the electronic or digital marketplace of ideas, and you start eliminating voices, then you do fall prey to being scrutinized and criticized as somebody who doesn't abide by, what people generally recognize to be free speech. You can't divorce those two. Yeah, it might not apply to you. In other words, you're not a government entity, you're private and you can do whatever you want to, but you're obviously still not for free speech. You can still say that. I don't even know why these people don't even throw that in there.
Are covering maybe abuses and ongoings at Musk's other companies, Tesla, SpaceX. Think about the chilling effect that might have because, as Oliver said, many journalists rely on Twitter to get their work out there, particularly if they are independent freelancers.
But furthermore, one of the things that I think where the hypocrisy comes in is that a lot of people felt that hateful, vitriolic, violent speech shouldn't be allowed on there because of personal safety. Elon Musk doesn't want his personal safety violated. I mean, that's what it comes down to. He doesn't want people to know where he is. It's about personal safety and
danger.
When
it's about him, he doesn't like it so much. Look, I said this before to you. Elon Musk is a very successful businessman. He's a rich guy. He's a rich guy who bought a media company, but because he bought a media company doesn't mean he understands a thing about the media business or about how this all works. And I think he's just proving that again and again and again.
And if I may, I think we should say that he is actively smearing people like Donny, saying that they effectively posted assassination coordinates on him for reporting on this Elon Jet account. That's obvious.
Yeah. If that is how it's being framed, and it kind of does look like it on Musk's, he's basically saying any account doxing real-time location info of anyone will be suspended and is a physical safety violation. This includes posting links to sites with real-time location info. If it's true that Donny O'Sullivan during his interview didn't do that, then Elon Musk is trying to broad brush his takedown of Donny and all these other people. And it's unfair. It's hypocritical. It's unreasonable. It doesn't violate the Twitter terms of service. So I agree with what Oliver Darcy's saying right here, while recognizing that Oliver Darcy is a paid propagandist who doesn't care about free speech.
Not true, totally false, but that's what you're hearing him say on Twitter tonight.
Also, the location of his jet is publicly available information.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
You're going to get us all banned. Right now, I mean, Donny, you got to be careful. Don't drag us down with you here.
I always thought I'd get banned for my bad jokes.
That really adds another wrinkle to it. Gentlemen, thank you.
And wouldn't that be interesting if Elon Musk watched this and he's like, screw you guys, I'm pushing, hey, F around and find out. Here we go. Gonna ban CNN. Wouldn't that make some serious headlines? Watch the libtards' heads explode on that one. So anyway, guys, leave your thoughts about this. I want to be fair, and I want to champion the cause of freedom. And if I violated that in any way on this broadcast, let me know. There are some things that I think that CNN brought out here in criticism of Elon Musk that, in my opinion, are valid.